It's the Emoji Movie, but better? Alright, so hi guys. We're here, of course I'm Michael, as you know, that's Howard in the back, and we have somebody new here, we kind of dragged along into this, kind of by force.
And forced to use his car.
And forced to use his car, yes. That's why I'm on the other side. Woohoo! Change up. More in frame.
I'm in the back. We could fit a third person.
Shit.
There goes your phone.
No, that was one of the lights. Oh. Anyway, why don't you introduce yourself?
I'm Jeff, and that's about it.
Hi, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff.
So we just kind of Wreck-It Ralph 2. I guess before we get into this, we talk about what we thought about the first one. Howard, you like the first one more than I do.
I don't defend it.
I mean, it's like, I'm just kind of curious what your overall thoughts are. I'm not here to put you on the spot. Oh, well, I guess I'm putting you on the spot.
Of the first
like, what did you think about the first one?
I mean, I just liked it because there were a lot of references that I got. I mean, I really enjoyed, like, the reveal up to Turbo and everything, all of that. I really enjoy, I mean, I play a shit ton of Mario Kart, so, like, oh, this is just candy Mario Kart. I can deal with this. Yeah. So, you know, obviously we talked about this before, and your point was, like, oh, you liked how they introduced the stuff with the surge protector, and then it's like, well, I wanted more of that, but then we're spending a good chunk of movie in the whatever shooting game was, and then Sugar Rush is the rest of the movie, and I'm like, yeah, I can see where you're coming from, but I felt like those were expositional points to set up for why she has to be in Sugar Rush or whatever. So
I like how you just basically just described everything I was going to say ahead of time.
Yeah. That's this.
I know we've had this conversation before.
That conversation was yesterday.
Was it yesterday?
It was yesterday.
God damn. Let's track of time. Jeff, did you like the first one? Like, what do you think about the first one?
Yeah, I actually liked it a lot. I think I wasn't part of this conversation, but
by all means, do indulge.
But yeah, honestly, the first time I saw it, I didn't like it as much, but I saw it again, and I found that I actually liked it more the second time around.
Okay, fair.
I think I definitely get more out of it after the second plus.
I mean, it wasn't the references. Vanellope just kind of pissed me off. She was, like, really bratty in the first one.
Yeah. It really depends on how much you like Sarah Silverman, too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like as Howard pointed out, I thought the first one was okay. I know a lot of people liked it more than I did. I thought it was just kind of eh. Mm-hmm. Mostly for what Howard already said. I felt like it had a great concept about like game hopping and like going to all these different kind of worlds, and then it just stuck on Candy Crush, and it basically became Candyland the movie.
Yeah. And
to me, I just felt like that was a wasted. I kind of felt that was a wasted opportunity, which transitioned nicely into the sequel, which. Is still okay. What do you guys think? Am I the asshole here? It's just like 93% Rotten Tomato.
Yeah,
I'm feeling 93% on Rotten Tomatoes is a little generous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. It's not just me this time.
But you are the asshole.
I mean, yeah, but like
you're the guy that's dissing out on Coach Ferratu. Okay.
Wait, what?
That's Rick and Morty.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, what did you think of it?
I enjoyed it, but not a ton. It was like I felt like there were a lot of big pacing issues. It wasn't very consistent in its tone, and it seemed kind of It had some really good gags in there, and there were some good moments. It didn't really come together as well as I had hoped.
I completely agree. Actually, that's pretty much exactly what I thought about it. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things. It's kind of mean to say it, but I don't know if Emoji Movie but better is a compliment.
Yeah, I was actually wondering because you had seen the Emoji Movie, and there were definitely some things thematically that seemed a little similar.
Yeah. That should have been intro. Hold on, I'm gonna get a new intro here. That's gonna be a bitch to find in editing. I'm just gonna tell it right now. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. It's like, to me, like, yeah, you pretty much hit the nail on the head as far as I think. I think it's when we had a lot of ideas, and I thought it was definitely a lot more clever than the Emoji Movie, and how it delivered those similar ideas. But yeah, it just, to me, narratively and story-wise, it did feel like it hopped all over the place. And when it felt, and especially towards the third act, which I'll get to, because that's honestly a majority of my complaints lie, it just kind of feels like it reboots to a certain extent. Not completely, but to a certain extent that was, to me, it was kind of jarring.
Yeah.
And it just felt like it completely just took away all its central narrative up to that point. Or at least, like, it's the driving conflict, I should say, just kind of vanishes at the third act. And it's completely come up with something entirely new to make up for it. And I feel like, to me, that just felt like sloppy storytelling. I get where it was going with it narratively, but overall, it's kind of like, you couldn't find a better way to do this? I don't know. To me, that bugged me. That being said, when they actually get into the internet and when they actually get, like, all that kind of stuff, all that stuff was fine. And actually, like, kind of like what you mentioned, you and I talked about this in the theater, it did actually kind of fix the issue I had with the first movie, where this one definitely takes a lot more advantage of the concept than the first one did. Now you do see more worlds, you do see, like, different games pop up, you do see more of, like, what's in store for the internet, and they do explore the concept a bit more creatively. The interesting thing about this, and especially towards the third act, again, ironically, it kind of overindulges.
Yeah.
When the first one underindulged. And it's kind of weird how the series has yet to find a good middle ground. Do you know what I mean?
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, because it also wants to, like, it wants to do the internet, but also wants to have Disney stuff in there, and also wants to do video game characters, and also wants to put Grand Theft Auto in there, and also wants to talk about the dark web, and it feels like almost too many ideas compared to the first game's too little ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you guys think? I just went on a massive tangent there.
So, yeah, okay, so I didn't think that poorly of the movie. Like, I was gonna give this, like, a B+.
I'd give it a solid B minus.
I like to defend it a little bit.
By all means, go ahead.
Sure.
Sorry.
So, okay, so the way I saw this movie was that, like, you had all the gags and all the things that you're completely right about, but overall, the driving conflict is always just sort of this, like insecurity of Ralph and his relationship with Vanellope, and it's just like, so it took him like 30 years to make one friend. That does something to a person. So I felt like this conflict was a little bit more introspective for Ralph. So, like, just the sort of idea that, like, the idea that he has to just sort of, like, accept his only friend's choices, no matter how hard they might be for him, and how hurt he might be from those choices. That's, I mean, obviously, the King Kong bit.
Yeah.
Sorry. King Kong plus Legion from Castlevania.
We're getting into spoilers here, by the way, guys. FYI. I mean, if you haven't seen the movie you plan on seeing, you better stop watching now.
Sure. Okay. So basically, at the very end, it's the big thing is that Ralph's insecurity gets scanned by a virus that he got from the dark web, and then it turns. If you've ever played Castlevania, you know what I mean. But it's like Legion plus King Kong, and it's fucking horrifying because everything keeps wriggling.
Yeah, it's like a body of worms sort of situation.
But it's all Ralph.
Yeah.
And I think maybe it's supposed to show how ugly his feelings are, because it's not supposed to be attractive. So, like I said, it's more introspective in a too literal sense.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but that kind of goes in the territory of intention versus execution. And and like, I'm not saying you're wrong or you're wrong for feeling the way you feel about it. It's more like, in my opinion, this is kind of saying that you run to when you talk to people about Batman vs Superman. Not that this movie's in any way like Batman vs Superman. I'm just using
I will fucking fight you tonight.
My point is,
Martha.
Why did you say that name? Anyway, the point I'm trying to make though is because like because you see the intention, that means it excuses the execution, and I don't think it does here. In some cases it might, but like I don't think what you're talking about. I'm not saying you're wrong because I definitely see that part of the movie, but I don't think it was done well enough to excuse the narrative flaws of it.
Hey, I'm angry at all the fucking clowns I had to watch. Okay.
Well, that's not relevant right now.
Oh. Hey. That's why this movie didn't get an A- for me, okay? Too many fucking clowns.
Would you mind if I roll down the window a bit here?
Yeah, sure.
Oh. How do you do that? Power! I need power! It's alive! Alright, anyway. Okay. There we go. But anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah. But yeah, so like, I definitely see what you're saying, but again, if you're looking through the structure of the movie itself and how it presents that, it really doesn't come up that like overtly until the third act of the film. Sure, it's like lightly hinted at here and there, but it's never like presented as a massive character flaw. It's more presented as like an endearing character trait.
Yeah,
I don't know. I sort of like saw.
I mean, like, you can make that
like,
debate.
I saw that like within the first conversation. It's just like, don't you ever get sick of just doing the same thing? Don't you ever want to like?
But that's more?
That's the first minute of the
but
movie.
No, that's not about Ralph's cleanliness, though. That's about Vanellope wanting something different.
Yeah, which would cause conflict.
But again, intention versus execution. It's more like, again, that doesn't become a conflict until the third act.
Well, like the movie, I agree to disagree. I think I probably just read more into the initial conversation.
But like, I'm looking at it from strictly as from a story structure and a writing standpoint. And to me, it did not present it well enough. Unless I really missed something in those like 2 minutes I missed when I went to answer a phone call.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's what happened.
Like,
yeah, no, there's this whole conversation when you were out where they're talking about.
No, I saw that scene. I think the one I missed was when Sonic tells him about the internet or something.
No.
Yeah. Because they referenced
when
the
they
conversation.
were plugging it in. Okay,
yeah, that scene with Sparkles or whatever the hell his name was.
Serge?
Whatever. That, the blue guy.
The TSA officer.
Yeah, that one.
I mean, the very serious organization, the TSA.
TSA, motherfucker. Anyway.
Anyway,
but yeah.
I mean, there were too many clowns for me. That's really my biggest thing. I also felt like the memes were a little bit much.
Yeah, I can see that too.
And then,
especially when they got to the like video reel of Ralph's videos,
which like. Honestly, like, I definitely agree. Like, there was a case like, okay, this movie's gonna get dated pretty fast. And also kind of the case like, I did like some of the commentary they made there. I thought some of that was funny. I enjoyed that part of the movie more, I think, than the first and the third act.
Oh shit! When he finds the comment section, the guy, I was like, oh, buddy.
Yeah, I was like, oh, you poor man.
Oh,
I was like,
oh, sweetie.
Well, like one that hit a little too close home for me because I've been dealing with bullshit lately is when the guy goes like, they need this woman named Yes, who's played by I forget her name. She was like the woman in Acrimony.
I remember her from the movie where she's the mathematician for NASA.
Yes, that one, the better one.
The way better movie than a fucking Tyler Perry movie.
Yeah.
So we're gonna
go with that, like Tessa Thompson or something like that. But anyway, she's supposed to like the YouTube algorithm. They don't call it YouTube, even though YouTube also exists in these universes. It's kind of confusing. Because we see the YouTube logo and they reference YouTube later, so it's kind of like.
I don't know.
Well, I assume it's like we don't want this character to represent us sort of situation.
Like Taraji Henson, I think.
Yeah.
Taraji P. Henson. I don't know if I'm saying the right, but
she's great.
I said I assume it's a we don't want this character to represent us sort of situation.
Yeah, it's kind of what I figured too. It's like, but why have YouTube been there? But anyway, that's a nitpicky thing.
Well, I mean, they clearly had to make BuzzTube so that they could be like, yes, when you like a video, it gets that person money.
Yeah, like
really like
you get a tenth of a penny for every click you get, just like real YouTube.
But except you have to be an overt racist or a person who believes in the flat Earth to get any sort of money.
You think too little of YouTube, sir.
I do not.
Yes and no.
That's so deep.
But yeah.
Oh,
like,
you.
there seemed to be like a pretty big like setup and emphasis for this character, but she was just kind of
She kind of goes nowhere, yeah, and that's something I noticed too. Like,
and she just kind of suddenly decides to help him, and like she like puts everything into solving the problem for him. And it's just like,
why?
She exists in this story like purely to make the story move forward. Like she didn't seem to really add anything.
I completely agree, and I thought they were saying her up to be like the villain in some way, and like maybe in the original script for this. And like honestly, it's kind of weird to bring this movie up too in this review. It reminds me a lot of Smallfoot, because Smallfoot did the same thing this movie does, where it completely shifts gears in the third act, and it just comes in something wildly different than anything that came before. It still technically fits the narrative, but you're also wondering where did all this come from. Like, and it happens a very similar way in both movies. In this case, like, okay, they have... So what happens is, in the movie, it's in the trailer, Ralph is... like Vanellope's best friend, and at that point she Vanellope confides in one day, says like, I'm getting really tired of the same thing over and over again, I just want a reason to break the monotony, or at least like a new track. So Ralph goes into her game and makes her a new track pretty much immediately, as a way to help out.
And honestly, why not just wait until tonight? Like, just
I know,
like,
right?
Just be like, no, hold up. This whole movie could have been prevented if she's like, hey, you know what? I'll just meet you at Tappers. And it's like, yeah, I'll meet you at Tappers, and not do anything conspicuous.
Well,
and just make a new track. Also, that track looked awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were gonna say something?
Well, what's even weirder is just Ralph is just not in his game the whole time.
Yeah, I know, right?
Like
I thought that too.
People are playing her game. He's not in his game. Then they get like evacuated, and he's still hanging out with her when he should be in his game. Like. You'd think his arcade would have shut down.
Yeah, right? I mean, like...
that was the whole plot of the first movie.
I mean, this movie felt like it went through multiple drafts. For another thing, like, that was also introduced and then dropped immediately, which I'll bring up in a bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he makes this new track, and Vanellope decides to go on there, but the player doesn't want to go on that track, and then it causes the whole thing. The steering wheel breaks. And then they figure out that there is a new wheel available, but it's only on eBay, and the owner of the arcade doesn't want to buy it. So
for $200, because all they really had to do was just wait until like the last second and bid $301.
Yeah, pretty much. The classic eBay way. So Ralph and Vanellope decided to go into the internet to get the steering wheel, but then they don't realize how money works, and they bid way too much. And they have to earn the money, and they figured the fastest way to do that is, well, first to try to look for a special loot thing.
No. They were gold farmers.
Oh yeah,
they were like gold farmers for like Diablo 3 when that was the thing. Like for those of you who do not know, at one point Diablo 3 had a real money auction house.
Yeah, I remember that fiasco.
So and then basically all the Chinese people just started playing on like North American servers, and they're just like, yeah, if it's a good item, we'll put it up for $2 or $3 or whatever, and then it became a huge problem.
Yeah. And Blizzard learned an important lesson that day.
But not enough to put Diablo on a phone? Never mind.
Well, you'd think they'd have learned that.
Well, they don't.
World of Warcraft and all that.
They don't learn that much, let's be clear.
You know, they're not the gold farming and stuff before that.
Yeah.
No, now it's loot boxes. Anyway, once up to that point, like the movie, the first act before they actually get to the internet, by this point the Vanellope's game gets unplugged and all the other people get orphaned.
I thought that pacing up to the internet was perfectly fine, because it does set it up the plot.
I mean, I'm not saying the pacing was bad. It just, and this maybe comes to the point where I didn't really care that much for the characters from the first movie, so maybe that didn't really help things in the second movie. It's like, okay, this is really cheesy.
No, I mean, for me, all Ralph had to do was just wait the following night and be like, hey, I'll meet you at Tappers, and then make a track for you. I mean, avoid this entire situation.
On that note, like, this kind of seems to follow a similar vein with the original movie, which was basically Ralph like ruins everything,
and then has to fix it.
Manages to solve the problem, but then he's kind of like seen as a hero for solving the problem he caused.
Yeah, right.
So
yeah,
and like
at least there was an antagonist in the first movie,
and people seem to like. They're suddenly like friendly. It's like you've earned my like
respect
or something.
We all love you now for fixing your own fuck up.
I don't. It's weird.
No, I get what you're saying. I do agree. But one thing that's funny to me, like that's how I know we went through multiple drafts. Is there's a plot line, a B plot brought on early on with Fix It Felix, and
they never showed it. They just
they send like all the erasers from the Candy Crush. With the candy whatever game.
Sugar Rush,
thank you. Is our orphan, and they say, we'll take them all in. It's like, you want to adopt 15 kids? Good luck. Never brought up again until the last 2 minutes of the movie. It's completely dropped. They never show up again, which is how I know it showed up in an earlier draft of the script. And for some reason that part stayed.
And honestly, like if they like spliced in that B story where like it's just like a beginning, middle, and end for that Fix It Felix story, where it's just sort of like it's the Jane Lynch character. She's just sort of like behind a counter with like a gun, and she's like hyperventilating, having PTSD, and she's like, I don't know how to make cookies.
That actually would be kind of great.
Well, yeah.
I mean, like I get why they dropped it, but it's more like, why have it in there at all?
Yeah, I suspect they plan to go a lot further with that, and then, but in the end, like both of those voice actors had like
10 lines collectively. Yeah.
And then the middle part of that is like you see Fix It Felix, and he's just like hammering himself like slowly, and like it's like really grim. It's just like, I'm a bad father. I'll never be like my father.
I just imagine the Robot Chicken sketch is gonna come and all the children are murdered, and he's just hammering them with the hitting with the hammers. No. They're not coming back. Oh God.
Oh God, Jesus. Yeah, no. But then at the very end, it's just like, oh yeah. But then at the very end, it's like, oh yeah, this is the secret to parenthood, and then you get like the circle 3. For the joke. So it's just sort of like, yeah,
it's more like that's in their plot that it just kind of goes nowhere. And I get why they dropped it, because compared to everything else, probably wouldn't be that interesting to see. But it's more like, again, it's like, well, why bring that up if you're gonna do nothing with it?
I mean, they could have literally cut the two characters out of the story,
and you wouldn't have missed a fucking thing. I mean, the only thing it does is cover up a plot hole of what happens while Ralph is gone. That's all it does.
I mean, I wouldn't even call it a plot hole. It's just stuff is happening. That isn't relevant to the plot.
Yeah.
But anyway, so when they get there and they try gold farming, that doesn't work out, and they meet Gal Gadot's character,
who I would totally stay in that game for.
Yeah. Who's like leads in this like GTA racing game basically. And then Ralph decides like, oh, if I just make a bunch of viral videos for BuzzTube, and then that will get me
Twisted Metal. That's what that game's making fun of.
Is it Twisted Metal or Grand Theft Auto? I
think it's kind of somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
With all the fucking clowns?
It's kind of just like those kind of car games,
Yeah.
With fucking clowns.
But anywho, so what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, but they made this character named Jess with like 3 S's, who's played by that woman we mentioned earlier, whose name I'm not going to even try to pronounce anymore.
But she's great.
No, she's really good with like kind of what Jeff said. It's more like they build her up, and she's in a lot of scenes.
I meant as an actress.
Oh yeah, she's a great actress. Like like and her performance, like everyone's performance here is pretty solid. It's more like what you said, Jeff. It's more like the Idris character. They build her up, and she plays this big part in the middle of the movie, and then she disappears in the third act. And then just kind of like, I'm gonna help you wrap up the plot now. And like, I thought they were gonna like do a thing, and again, it would have been predictable, but at least it would have been something where they were gonna like have her be the villain. Like Ralph is it's too good now to get rid of.
I mean, the other thing they could have done to like support your point is like, there could have been a thing where like, Ralph and Yes are starting to get too close, but Yes is becoming too clingy, and then it's just sort of like, oh, I can see how I am viewing my, the way that Yes views me is the way I view Vanellope, and it's just sort of like, whoa.
Yeah,
you know,
that's actually a great point. That would have worked a lot better.
That is actually way better of an introspective plot.
Yeah, and that would have actually worked off what's already been established in the movie. I almost said game. Like balance the movie,
because she could have held the funds hostage.
Yeah, or something like that. Something that adds
that was way too fast for 24 hours, by the way.
Yeah, I know, right? Like at least kind of like a few days.
Well, if you're the algorithm for all of a movie thing or a video like thing, you can
slow down time.
I know, but it's just like they were at eBay. They did the thing with Slaughter Race, and then the little e-boy showed up and is like, "You have 8 hours left, fucker."
I wish he said that. That'd been kind of great.
But like, I felt like that would have been a better like plot point if she was just like, "I can't let you go. You're so good for me. I need you," and she's super clingy about it. And then Ralph was like, "Whoa."
That's actually an excellent point. And yeah, do you think that would have worked a lot better, right?
I think it would have. I wouldn't even surprise me if that was actually intended originally.
Yeah.
But then it's like...
But we need a final fight,
well, they're also...
No, there could have been a final fight.
But it's like, no, can we have like a giant monster? Like, it feels like a studio note.
Yeah, but if she was in that situation with, like, her power of all of that, like, her whole...
You could have made something really interesting with that.
I mean, you can even have... Hell, she could have created a monster, and it would have still, like, been
like, it's all, like, codes and viral videos and shit.
Something.
Or it's a classic Pixar chase scene where they're going through the internet trying to get the 30K that they
So
earned.
Monsters Inc.
Yeah. Monsters Inc., Incredibles 2, Toy Story 2. 3.
I'm thinking like Monsters Inc. because they take them through all the doors and stuff to go different places.
No, I mean,
that.
I think the Honest Trailer guy was pointing it out. Every Pixar movie has like a chase scene. And but I'm like, it kind of works a little better. Like, she's like freaking out that Ralph is gonna go back because he's succeeded, and
No, like I agree. I think that's actually a very good point. I think that would have worked a lot better than what they went with, which is make Ralph act like an uncharacteristically huge asshole, just to contrive a situation where they have to be mad at each other.
Is it uncharacteristic of him?
Yes!
He's still a bad guy.
Yes, it is!
But he's not a bad guy.
That was the whole point of the first movie!
Yeah. Plus, I mean, the way, like, it feels weird, like, obviously he wants to spend time with her or whatever, but it did seem weird that he would, like...
Suddenly jump to, like, I need to destroy your game!
Yeah, I want to destroy her dreams.
Yeah.
So she comes back to me. That's
actually really fucked up.
I know.
It feels a lot...
Like, it came out of nowhere.
A lot, like, that, given my limited knowledge of the character, it still seems a little, like, beyond something he would do.
I mean, it goes against even what we saw the character do earlier in the film, where he just made her a new track because she said she wanted a new track to explore, so he just made one immediately.
Yeah.
It's like, so that already goes against what we already know about the character, and that he's willing to work to do what, like, to help her get what she wants.
I mean, I could definitely see that as jealousy over Gal Gadot, but you know what? I would be jealous of Gal Gadot. Anyway, the jealousy of Gal Gadot was just stronger. Than it was blinding him from seeing that he wasn't acting in Vanellope's best interest anymore. He was just trying to screw Gal Gadot in a non-sexual way.
You totally meant that sexually.
I totally did.
Gal Gadot is an angel, sir. You will treat her with respect.
She is Wonder Woman. Let's not put her on a pedestal. Let's put her in
She's
armor.
Wonder Woman. We're putting her on a pedestal.
The pedestal has armor, sword, and shield.
That's why she's a god.
But the fan art, like, there's no coming back. I'm sorry.
Rule 34. Anyway.
In real life, though, Gal Gadot is actually, like, apparently is really taking the character to heart, like, kind of like Chris Evans said when he took on Captain America. It's like, oh, I guess she's just Wonder Woman now. Okay. Like when Captain America started making anti-Trump tweets or political tweets, like, oh, So I guess Chris Evans is just Captain America now. All right, cool. I'm down. I'm just saying. I guess I just didn't know.
Hey, you know what? You just made an editorial about that.
Wait, that's true. I did.
About how Captain America doesn't agree with the American government. You should watch it here.
Yes. In the editorial playlist, I don't know how to do that.
I don't know.
I'll figure it out. But yeah, it is really good. We just released our new editorial just earlier today. Go watch that too. Anywho,
shameless plugs.
Yeah.
Anyway, do we really have...
I do want to say one, I forgot to bring this up because I into one joke that hit a little too close to home for me because I've been dealing with this shit for a little while without going into any detail. When they first meet, yes, and Ralph gets the idea to keep making viral videos, and he's like, "How are you gonna get viral?" I was like, "I'll just do what's popular." I'll just copy whatever's popular. I'm like, oh.
I actually heard you just
oh, that was you.
Yeah, that was me. That stung a little too hard.
The really loud groan.
I was kind of like, it's true. And I'm saying that as someone who, let's be fair, I started out as a ripoff. I mean, I think every YouTuber kind of does, but you eventually got to break away from the ripoff portion and actually start doing your own shit.
Yeah.
If you've been doing this longer than 6 months to a year and you're still copying people's shit, you are just shit. That's my general critique of YouTubers in general. Anywho...
So I feel like we're just sort of talking in circles about it. I feel because I kind of need to check on my dog.
So it's not that we're actually talking circles about this. You just want to stop talking about it.
No, I mean, I also need to check on my dog.
He's fine.
Bro, it's been
He's lasted
5
longer.
hours.
He's lasted longer. He's fine. We'll get to him soon, buddy. I promise.
Okay.
I don't want to. I'm not using. I love Max too. I'm not unsympathetic.
I mean, he's already peed on the carpet. What more can
He's got a
can't
point.
Get much worse.
Poop. It can always be worse. Poop, barf, blood, acid from the batteries that we left out.
You left out.
No, these were your batteries.
That you dropped on the floor because you throw the ball around and you don't pick up the batteries.
I put them back, I'm kidding. The batteries aren't the issue.
Try to pin this on me, fucker.
Shut up, okay? Fix It Felix and the other girl.
They can't fix emotions, Howard.
No, they
can't. They can't. They fix your victim mentality.
They judge me as pet parents.
Where's the bicker we bicker like parents?
Anyway,
anyway, love you, Howard. In a non-consensual, in a non-platonic way.
Non-consensual is what your Freudian slip was, by the way.
Damn it! My plans have been unfoiled.
There is a special fee to watch that video.
Oh. There could be a disclaimer on the front. By the way, this is all pretend.
There is no video to watch that. There's no special feed to watch.
That's where you really go on that little. What was the not Google browser they called it?
I mean, they had Google on it.
Knows more. Yeah, I was waiting for the porn suggestion to come up. Porn, like pussy, plaything. What do you want to do?
Well, I mean, they could have at least cut it off before you finished saying it.
No.
As a little for the.
We already got the lingerie joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of the commentary about the actual internet stuff I thought was fine. Again, it's gonna be dated in a little while, but I thought as something that's come out now, I was like, all right, I kind of appreciate some of the jokes on there, and we forgot to talk about the Disney. We do kind of have to talk about the Disney stuff.
Okay, fine, but before we go on, I just wanted to point out that I'm in a coding boot camp, and I just watched something I literally just studied, which was CRUD operations, the HTTP protocol, and so much more. It was really fun for me, having just studied that and passed that test. Anyway, the Disney princesses, why were they there?
Because they really want to promote their own Disney
because
website. Yeah, that's pretty much what it boils down to. It's why should we need to get a license to everyone else when we have all the properties now?
Soon.
I felt there were some good gags in there.
There were.
I mean, I like the gags.
There's that was a case where I thought it got a little too self-indulgent, especially when the princesses pop again later.
Well, I think it was more that they specifically named the site.
Yeah,
Disney
that was
site.
like there's a lot of self-indulgence in that sequence.
If they just said it like, "Oh, this is a Disney site," then it would feel a little less obnoxious to me.
Yeah, but they have to. Otherwise, like go Disney.com or whatever the heck it was called.
Yeah. Also, she was not trying very hard to get clicks, although I feel like that's actually more suggestive of her desire to not want to go back to Sugar Rush now that I think about it. But I mean, like,
I don't think that was the intention at the time.
You clearly saw her like take a clickbait ad and just smush it onto a stormtrooper, and it forced him to go to the site.
I know, just get so you're
like
get really aggressive.
So like if she did want to go home, or if she did want to like succeed at the original quest of get the steering wheel, all she had to do was just like the actual malware, and then that could have also been a different plot where it's like, oh, it's not Ralph breaking the internet, it was Vanellope and her glitch from the first movie all along.
I will admit that one gag with the Disney stuff that did get a pretty big laugh out of me was when they do go to the princess room, and there was one joke in there in particular, it's like, okay, that was pretty funny. When so they're trying they're trying to describe like how are you a princess? I see it's in all the trailers.
Yeah.
And there's a part where it goes like, was your mother killed? I don't have a mom. Like 10 princesses go, neither do we. Like really happy. And I'm like, oh my god, they actually said it. It's like Disney hates parents. I think it's
Mulan totally has a mom.
Well, she wasn't in that particular shot.
She wasn't the one who said it. But
it was like five or six other Disney friends that all like, yeah, me neither. All our parents died. Horrifically.
Yeah. I feel like it was a little weird at the end to see the Disney princesses sort of like
just kind of show up to do something else for the third act.
Justice League together to sort of, not Justice League, Avengers it up together because they don't own that property yet.
I mean, regardless of that, it was a good moment. And, like, honestly, that was probably the biggest laugh I heard out of you during that movie. When they all just suddenly, like, came and did their, like, fancy teamwork, like, princess powers.
Yeah, I don't know, like, that to me, I felt like that was when it was getting, like, a little too self-indulgent for my taste, because even, like, with the name, blatantly naming their website and having all this Disney shit in there, at least that was, like, only one sequence.
That laugh, okay. I was laughing at that because it was so ridiculous in the same way that I was laughing really hard with Mike at the end of the Meg. It was just, like, it was so ridiculous that my brain is like, this is fucking dumb.
Yeah, we both laughed our ass off in that scene. Yeah. That was the point we got it. I think we improved it for some audience members. I don't know about everybody.
Also, I just want to point out that they had a magic carpet.
Yeah, they did.
They could have just cut him with the magic carpet.
Hey, yeah, that's right. Jasmine, the princess, did nothing.
Just like Aladdin.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Watch it again. What does she actually do?
Doesn't she smack the cane?
Yeah.
Oh, she
does.
She totally smacks the cane.
Okay. She does one thing.
Sexist fuck.
We're talking about Disney princesses here. Okay, let's not pretend the standard is high for doing shit.
I'm too busy I'm too
I mean, that was only like the last like decade when they actually started doing stuff. Except Mulan, of course. Even though Mulan's not technically a princess.
She's not a princess at all.
Yeah, see.
But they had to have Asian inclusions. But you know what? I appreciate that.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, you better not.
So one last thing that bothered me.
Go for it.
Was that a lot of the like lessons or whatever, it was very tell not show.
I completely agree.
Like the character doesn't literally say, "Oh, here's the lesson," but they basically like say the lesson like out loud as opposed to showing what the lesson is. And this,
yeah, I agree.
Like for multiple different things.
Yeah. And that comes into not having a strong enough narrative to actually show what those lessons are.
Yeah.
Which again, your suggestion would have fixed.
Oh, you mean yeah? Mm-hmm. You know what? I'll write out the script and I'll send it to Disney.
Too late. The tie has been cast. Disney already has our money. Ours now, fucker, blood and boomerang.
Yeah.
Copyright by Disney.
I just see later like Mike the comic nerd gets bought out by Disney. And
hey, at least I'd have free publicity.
But then immediately fired.
It's okay, because according to other YouTubers, I can just lightly change my name and it'd be totally new. I'm feeling petty tonight. Anyway, so Anything else you guys want to talk about? I'm ready to move on to trailers if you guys are.
I would totally do that animatic for the thing I suggested. That was a cool idea. Anyway, moving on.
You got any
That's all I've got for now.
All right, so we have quite a few trailers. So a couple of them we talked about quite a bit already. So I apologize in advance, Jeff, because I know you and I haven't talked about any of these. But just for the sake of time, so we can all get home. So we got the kid who would be Kane again. This one, I've got this trailer a lot. It looks like a January kids movie. Slightly better production value.
It's like a British version of Spy Kids.
Or Kid in King Arthur's Court. You remember that one?
Yeah, I do, actually. That movie sucked.
It did. Then we got Wonder Park. This is a new trailer for this one.
Oh, yeah, I was interested. It was cool to see the actual plot.
Yeah, I know, right? Because all trailers before us to show like, oh look, it's a theme park and they're doing stuff at a theme park and there's a pig and so stuff.
And there's no plot.
We're gonna call it Wonderland over and over again, and then it's gonna be called Wonder Park. For reasons. Yeah. I'm sure nothing to do with the mouse.
Well, so I mean, I did sort of like the plot that was sort of introduced as sort of like.
I'm sorry, I said something about Wonder Park. It's fine.
I basically like this idea where they're going with it's sort of like she's sort of outgrowing her imagination because we're becoming a preteen or an actual teenager, so it's awful.
I'm so sorry. When you said imagination like that, I just suddenly started thinking imagination.
What the fuck is that from?
The Imagination song. From South Park.
Oh.
Imagination. Imagination.
Okay.
Which is the plot of this movie.
Sure. Alright, what was the next one?
Yeah, but hold on, let me finish the song. You can open a portal to imagination.
I really don't want to.
Imagination. Anyway, then we got another trailer for Secret Life of Pets 2, which means I'm going to be seeing this trailer 5,000 fucking times.
Yeah, was the implication of that trailer meaning we have to collect in our memories the other trailers?
I guess?
What?
Yeah, it seemed like there was going to be a trailer for each main character.
I know I got the trailer for the main character dog before, and
Max,
which might as well be called Boy, Louis C.K. sounds different.
Huh.
Because now it's Patton Oswalt.
Good for him, though.
Yeah. So I'm like, boy, this dog really sounds different, huh, guys? Wonder what happened there. That trailer was actually a lot funnier than this one was, because that one had, like, take him to, like, a psych vet. So all, like, the pets that go there were, like, psychologically disturbed in some way.
Huh.
Which is kind of great.
That would be a better movie.
I know, it was a better trailer. The trailer is better than the first movie, honestly. Because I had the best part, like, two, like, Siamese cat who turn, like, a big wide eyes like this. And they say together, "We start fires." It's kind of great.
I think I remember that. I don't remember that.
Hold on, I'm running out of memory here. Do we care about the rest of your show? Or just want to wrap it up?
This is, I mean, if there's any, just like go through the trailers.
All right, we only got 3 minutes left on this memory, so I gotta clear it up. Hold on.
No, I mean, just say what they were.
Okay. Really quick. How to Train Your Dragon 3 looks great. Into Spider-Verse won me over.
Need to see it.
We need to see that.
Detective Pikachu, morbid curiosity.
Yeah, I feel like regardless of how good it is, I need to see it.
Yeah.
Just to know.
All right, speedrunning this. What's next?
And then we got both teasers for Toy Story 4, which I guess is going to existential in this one. I don't know.
Well, okay, so we can talk about that, whatever. But I do like a good Key and Peele skit.
Yeah, I mean, it's more like, I guess the fork is alive and it's not supposed to be, and it's having a real bummer about it.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of it. And then we got the new trailer for Dumbo, which can fuck right off.
Oh, also the elephant was a clown.
Yeah.
Dude, we need to figure out a way.
No, we don't. We're out of time.
All right. See you guys later this week. There's still a shit ton to see. Bye.
Fuck clowns.